We're here today at Muswell Manor to celebrate the fact that this year, 100 years ago, the first flight took place in Britain. Here on Sheppey, we have the privilege of being the home of British aviation. And from just across here, the Wright brothers took off from terra firma for the first time in history. And here we have a commemoration plaque which states that the airfield in Laysdown was opened in February 1909, and this was actually commemorated in February of 2009 by Kenneth Bannerman, who is the Director General of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, and as I said, that's why we're here, to commemorate this. Okay, now we've moved inside to Muswell Manor now, and Sharon Munn is going to explain a little bit about the history of aviation here at the east end of the island. Sharon.
Hi. Well, this is obviously Rolls from Rolls-Royce. Most people think he died through, obviously, his car issues, but he actually passed away through the aviation side. He actually had a crash. But prior to that, he actually was here and he introduced the Short brothers, which we've got a section of all over there, to the Wright brothers. So he's your main man as such. He introduced the brothers to each other, and it then obviously rolled from there. So Rolls is a big significance, and where Rolls comes into this is you obviously got your Rolls-Royce engines. Well, Rolls actually commissioned the engines into the aircraft. So this is where the link comes in.
So this was where aviation started, and this was why it started. And thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Right, so Sharon, tell me the link between the Rolls and the Short brothers.
Well, as I said earlier, Rolls was the link that introduced the Shorts to the Wright brothers. And how this worked, he suggested that the Shorts go over to France, where the Wright brothers were putting on an event and displaying their flying side. Okay. And so actually it was Horace, this one here, that actually went over, and he was introduced to the Wright brothers, and then they really got on well, and the Wright brothers allowed the Short brothers to have a contract to build their aeroplanes in this country, and that is the world's first. So that's where it comes into everything happened here, like the Short brothers having the world's first factory, it's Britain's first aerodrome. So that's how the link comes in. And then they obviously got the commission, Horace done all the drawings, brought them back to England, found a location, which obviously was here, and then they went out into the field, built their hangars and the factory, and then the Wright brothers came over to inspect the factory where they'd commissioned them to have their aeroplanes.
Okay, good. Now, this picture here shows the Wright brothers 100 years ago driving down the road from Sheppey, and I just think it's quite incredible that we've got history in this part of the world. And Sharon, explain a bit more about what the Wright brothers meant in terms of aviation here.
Well, the Wright brothers, part of their criteria was, when they gave the contract, to have something, or a place, an area that's really isolated, nicely tucked out of the way, so they cannot have any prying eyes, so they can keep their aircraft and their design top secret. So this is the location, and this is why we're slightly out of the way. Yes. And obviously they came...
Secluded is the word.
Nicely secluded out of the way. So they obviously had this commission. They then came down, the Wright brothers, and now they're actually in a Rolls-Royce car. So it was Rolls that picked them up, and it was a patent officer, and in the back is the Wright brothers, in the back of the Rolls-Royce. They came down, they inspected the factory, and they were really impressed, because the ground is flat, there's a lot of land around here, there still is.
It's really open.
Yeah.
You can see it's obvious if you were looking for somewhere to take an historic first flight, this would be a prime
perfect location.
And of course, right, excuse the pun, right by the sea, so that if they have an accident, they're well away from any population, which is probably part of their consideration.
Yeah. And then it goes on from here, where just before they arrived, Bravison then achieved his records, just to impress, I think, the Wright brothers. So they came down on the 4th of May, and on the 2nd of May was when Bravison done all his firsts, the world's firsts, of a lot of achievement he made. And that's where the famous picture was taken as well.
We've come to Minster to meet Andy Booth, who is a local borough councillor and is also heavily involved in Sky Sheppey, which is this year's celebration of aviation on Sheppey. Andy, what's it about?
You've mentioned it all in one go, Gordon. It is to
celebrate that sort of thing.
You do that. He's good at this. He's good at this. It is to celebrate the aviation history that has steeped up on the Isle of Sheppey, particularly at East Church. East Church is the founding station for the Royal Naval Air Service, which latterly became the Fleet Air Arm. We also had a World War II fighter base station here at East Church as well, plus the whole host of other fantastic historic events that took place at East Church. You've got the first aircraft factory that was based at East Church. Again, it's just so much history here, and we can't let it go. We have to celebrate it and we have to remember it.
And of course, some of the hangars that were used in the for that factory are still in existence today, and there was some talk and some long-term objective is to actually utilise those better for something else. And you know,
there's two large hangars actually down on the prison grounds. I don't know if you've been down there yet, but they're very, very centrepiece, I suppose, and very historic to this part of the island.